Some questions for Mike Barrett from Barrett Insurance Agency right off the bat. Have you ever gotten into a situation where you argue with people? You shouldn't do that, and then they do it anyway. And then how does that become you, maybe the police, maybe another person coming in?
Boy, how ugly do you think this gets?
Well, I'm saying I go out my back door, and I've got like a really bad fencing that you've told me, hey, you need to fix that on your backside of your building.
Mm-hmm.
I decided to fry a turkey out there with some giant piece of machinery and a whole lot of oil. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, this breaks, that falls, oil everywhere, my house catches on fire. Now, is that going to be covered even though it's completely my fault that I'm stupid?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's kind of nice for stupid people.
So that's why there's no police there, and that's why I'm not arguing. But that's why we do what we do, and you just mentioned it. I mean, if the fence is, I've never necessarily pointed out a ratty fence, but we do point out things that can be of concern to a company, and companies certainly don't shy away from saying, hey, this is wrong, and it could jeopardize the policy before a loss even occurs.
So you're saying beforehand, you could actually say, you could be a snitch and call up one of your people and be like, this guy has this, it's potentially dangerous, he's refusing to fix it.
Do you know that technically we're supposed to? Because when I am representing a company, I have to have the company interests in my thought process. While we're also, it's a precarious position to be in because I also go as advocate for the insured.
You're my buddy, and you're a snitch.
I don't snitch, but I tend to be more advocate for the insured than representative of the company. But if you look at the actual contract and agreement of an agent, I do have to do that. So it's a balancing act. But we're not going to misrepresent something to the company, nor are we going to be unreasonable to an insured. We're going to do the best we can for them.
Well, so if I'm getting all Christmas crazy, right, and I'm plugging in,
is this different than any other time of the year crazy for you? No,
they actually could see my house from space.
Oh, you're Griswold.
But I'm concerned because I know that there are older buildings like my own that have faulty wiring or don't have the capacity. I still have those old screw, what are they called, fuss or bus.
You have fuses in your house?
I have fuses in my house. The face on that one. We'll be talking privately after the program.
Yes, we will.
But what happens if I just get all, Christmas crazy, and then all of a sudden, there you go, boom, my lights catch on fire, my house burns down. It was my fault, out and outright, and anybody could tell you, you shouldn't have done that. But
fire is fire is fire is fire.
Okay.
Yeah. So really the only big things that are going to cause a problem with whether a claim is paid out or not is whether you materially misrepresented your risk to the insurance carrier, and whether that be to the agent or direct or what have you. But there's very few things that can void a standard policy, an admitted carrier policy. And that's why companies reserve the right to kind of nitpick a little bit and go, hey, we don't like that. Case in point, a rental property with fuses. I plead the fifth on that one right now, but yeah.
Let's rewind to pretend I never said that.
Can we scratch that from the record?
I'm concerned because...
What's your address for the insurance agent out there? No. Yeah, no.
I live in Sheffield.
Sutton, Connecticut.
So we have, things like trees and what have you going up. Do you send out, are your Christmas cards like little happy reminders? Merry Christmas from the Barrett Insurance Agency, and P.S., don't overload your sockets.
No, that's a good idea.
But it seems
clean your chimney.
Yeah, clean your chimney. These are things that people are negligent on. And like you said, if you don't get caught, and your house doesn't burn down, you're just not quite telling the truth to your insurance company.
Right.
And if nothing happens, then you go, knock on wood, all is well.
Well, there are a couple things that you try to identify as like moral and moral hazards that exist within insurance, whereas either somebody says, I don't care, because the insurance is going to cover it, or they just don't care at all anyway.
But you just
about
said
their
they're
property.
not going to later is probably
right.
The issue.
So you try to identify those types of situations where if you've had insurance for 20, 30 years, it's going to be hard for us to ever really identify that, even maybe through a review. But then what do? It's tough. But you try to assess the risk as an entirety. So it's not just that we're looking at properties, we're looking at people. And you want to try to make sure you're having a appropriate response and appropriate coverage for every situation.
Not just property, but you're looking at people, and you're probably thinking to yourself, you're ugly, and I don't want to insure you.
Never thought that.
You look like you want to burn something
In the
down,
morning when I'm telling myself I'm special, I say that too
Yeah.
as well.
Mike Barrett, Barron Insurance Agency, stopping down as he does every Wednesday. If you'd like to find out more about what he can do for you and find out if you're up to snuff and
If you're purty enough.
anything that you could do to keep him off of my scent, because now I have a feeling I'm going to get scolded for having
following
fuses in
him
my house. Thanks so much for coming in. If you want to talk to him, you can do so by calling
748-5224. He meant to say circuit breaker. On Portland Street in St. Johnsbury, we're still collecting toys for the Northeast Kingdom Santa Fund. You can find us online, thebarrettagency.com, Google, Facebook, and YouTube, all Barrett Insurance Agency.
Thanks, buddy.
See ya.